And now, a round warm of applause. Let us welcome Martín Ruiz, CEO of Palacio del Hierro. Good afternoon. First of all, I am between you and Diego Forlán. He doesn't know if you're here for him or for me. But let me seriously thank the GeneXus team for this invitation. This is not going to be a traditional presentation. I just want to share with you some news about Palacio del Hierro. It's what we are doing with other member companies of the group, with our partners, with university students. And every time we do so, we learn something new. This is a conversation, an exchange. We raise questions, we answer, we clarify points, we change the vision. We look at the transformation of Palacio del Hierro. I'm not going to give you a formula. Digital transformation means different things to different people. To us, it meant changing the corporate colors, right? It means something to you. We improved our relationship with GeneXus. That was the first step in a PowerPoint. Apart from the joke, it was just coincidence. Normally, this conversation takes 3 hours, but I have about 30 minutes on this occasion, so I have my notes here, so that I make sure that I will talk about the most important things from our standpoint. We are a chain of department stores. I don't know how much you know about Mexico. How many of you had experience with Mexico and knew Palacio del Hierro? Very good. Let me tell you something. Palacio del Hierro is not a very huge enterprise. We bill $2.5 billion a year. We have 13 large stores distributed in the country, but these are luxurious stores. You cannot have too many stores in the same place because that would be cannibalism of the market. We have franchises of over 200 boutiques and well-known brands. But the name Palacio del Hierro is worth a lot more than the company. We have a huge reputation in the market. And we have mottos that the public likes. It says, I'm totally a palace. And you say, soy, and they say, totalmente palacio. Everybody knows the slogan. Curiously enough, it's a luxurious shop, but it's very inspirational. People go there, they buy simple presents just to get this brown and yellow bag. It gives you prestige. So the name Palacio del Hierro is important. We protect our name. It's larger than the company itself. Having said so, let me tell you that my PowerPoint only has 7 slides. It's an aide-memoire of what I will tell you. It doesn't have all the content. If you have any questions, doubts, GeneXus has my data, and GeneXus can share my email, so you can get in touch with me and ask me what we're doing, why we're doing so, and that's not a problem. First of all, it's important for me to highlight that we all know what digital transformation means, but it may also mean different things to each of us because we have different businesses, we do different things, and digital transformation comes or came, just went through, we didn't realize. What is important is that we need to change. We need to change making sense. And to know that, we need to understand the change and what it is all about. I had different jobs where they told me we have to modernize, we have to change. Why? If I cannot answer why, it's because I don't know where I'm heading to. This digital transformation is like going out on a holiday. When you go on a holiday, you do know where you're going. When you go to a holiday, you don't get in the car, you first check to have a full tank. You don't want to stop halfway and stay there. You know if you're going to go by plane, by bus, by car, and what you will do during your free time. So you know about your destination and so on. So this transformation is very similar to that holiday. But some people start a journey without knowing about the destination. And this is commonplace in many associations, in many organizations. In our case, we were able to stop and face it in a different way. How did we start? There was a generational change in the management of the company. Many directors changed. They had a different vision as to how to do things. For many years, we were immersed in an internal transformation process based on SAP. 7 years of implementation, that's a long time. When we completed that and we looked out, the world had changed from the viewpoint of retail. I was not in Mexico yet. Everything was on the phone. We used all the words, but what did change in retail? That was the question. So we started analyzing that, and two things changed: the power and personalization. What is the meaning of power? When I was a little younger than I am now, I love photography. That's my hobby. If I wanted to look at a camera, I would go to my shop to see what they had. Do you think I go to the shop today? No. I know exactly what I want. Not only that, I know about the price. I know about warranties and services. So when I go to a shop, I say, do you have such and such a camera? If they have it, under the conditions I request, I buy it. Otherwise, I don't. In the past, I went to the shop just to check what they had. I probably had one idea in mind, and then I was convinced to buy another brand. So traditionally, in the retail market, you push the sale and you buy what they sell to us, not what we want. Today, we buy what we want. Before going to a shop, we compare prices or compare things. Don't be ashamed. Do you do that? Raise your hand. Yes, we all compare. Did you do that 20 years ago? Well, 20 years ago, some of you were not born even. But in the past, did you compare? No. So that's power. Power was transferred from those who sell to those who buy. And those who sell need to know those who buy, and we should provide them with things that are relevant. Otherwise, they won't buy. In the past, we would say, in the market, Canon is 60, Nikon is 40 in Latin America. So we have 60-40. That's no longer relevant. Today, I must know more about demand, but at the level of microclusters. If we don't do that, we're lost. Also, through these simple things, we can experience digital transformation. We change our company so that we can compete against the knowledge in the hands of the customer and the service we want to provide him. This leads to mobility, unichannel, focus on the customer, services, and so on. Before talking about what Palacio is doing, I'll show you a video that tells you how this physical transformation started. The Palace of Palaces.
Del Palacio de Hierro, dando paso a nuestro proyecto más ambicioso a la fecha.
Como todos ustedes saben, hoy cerramos esta maravillosa tienda Polanco, va a ser la insignia de nuestra organización y va a ser verdaderamente de wow.
El Palacio de Hierro de reacción en tiempo real no se hizo esperar. Se alcanzaron 5 millones de cuentas de Twitter en 4 horas. La cobertura logró 15 millones de impresiones y más de 350 publicaciones nacionales e internacionales mencionaron el suceso. La prensa mexicana lo declaró en sus portadas como el evento más importante del año, marcando una nueva era en el retail internacional. El primer día de la operación recibimos a casi 50,000 clientes y el hashtag El Palacio de los Palacios fue trending topic orgánico en redes sociales durante 2 días. Digitalmente, esta ha sido nuestra campaña con más impacto, 4 veces mayor a cualquier otra. Mediante alianzas estratégicas y la generación de herramientas como una app especial en la tienda, seguiremos conociendo a nuestros clientes creando programas de lealtad en esta era digital. En su primer mes, el Palacio de los Palacios ha recibido a más de 20 millones de personas y las ventas sobrepasan los 600 millones de pesos. Todo esto nos impulsa a mantener el momentum del Palacio de los Palacios con eventos, actividades en tienda, innovaciones tecnológicas, comunicación e investigaciones de mercado profesionales para seguir siempre a la vanguardia del retail. Creemos en nuestro negocio, creemos en el país. Con este nuevo capítulo, tanto en México como en el mundo, estamos haciendo historia, orgullo para México, una historia totalmente Palacio.
Muy bien.
Very well. So this was the beginning of our transformation process. It was physical transformation. Who was able to go to the neighborhood of Polanco and visit this store? Well, it's unique. Some of the stores won international awards, but none of them is close to this one. It's 50,000 meters in surface, and it can be compared only to the shops in the Arab countries. But it's the first step of the transformation that we called physical and digital at the same time. It's neither one nor the other, it's both. And it's not enough to have a digital presence, as Amazon says. It's necessary to have a physical presence, but it has to be a platform of services different from the one I can have in the digital world, and they have to empower each other. The store in Polanco is the first store that has a personality different from the others. It is in this neighborhood, Polanco, which is the most exclusive neighborhood in the city. And the internal theme is the classic places of Mexico City. One of the strategies we are following in the physical world is to adapt the store in the neighborhood where it is located. So you will remember that the store of Durango that was opened in the 50s is between the neighborhoods of Condesa and Roma that have been affected now by the earthquake. But the store very soon is going to be remodeled, and the spirit will be hipster, but it's because it's the kind of people who live there. And the Santa Fe store, which is the second one in importance, since Santa Fe is a neighborhood that has offices and businesses, is going to turn around the theme of wellness. But this is physical transformation. And let me tell you about the digital platforms. The first thing is that, as I said before, you cannot travel if you don't know where you're going. We knew that our trip was going to be very complex, and we looked for help. And the first one came from Intel. Intel makes chips, right? No. Intel has a business division that is dedicated to the industry and has very qualified people. Why did we get together with Intel? Because it was a perfect combination. Intel has specialists in the business, and we are big in the industry, but our dimensions are not so big that we are not agile when we want to make changes. And Intel said, we are going to help you to transform yourselves and acquire new technology. Obviously, it was going to be Intel technology, and they work with us for free, and they invest a lot in them, they invest a lot in us, and we repay them by buying more material from them. The other agreement of this sort that they have in the world is with Walmart. And the agreement they have with us is the only one of its kind in Latin America. Intel helped us improve our structure and find a goal, know where we were going. And they came with the concept of customer journey. They came up with this concept. Everybody talks about customer journey, but in our case, it is some kind of architecture. You have heard about TOGAS, where you put in the capacities you need in order to offer services. Well, we did the same thing, but instead of thinking of it from the point of view of the company, we took the point of view of the client, what the clients expect from the company. And Intel helped us carry out services with the employees, the people in the street, etc. So what you see here is a part of a PowerPoint that is as long as the screen, and it's half the height, and it's in our lab of research and development, and it describes the ideal customer journey of an ideal person called Sophia. Our profile or prototype is a young woman with a high income, and on that we model the customer journey. I don't want to tell you about the journey in details, but the important thing is that the way it's structured, on the top you can see Sophia and her interaction. In the middle there's a description of what's going on, and things get interesting on the lower part of the screen, the list in gray and white, which are the capabilities that we should turn on in order to fulfill the promise of customer journey. For example, good stock with precision, digital payments, the possibility of buying from a tablet, being able to deliver anywhere. So there are different capabilities that are turned on and off according to the place in which we are along this journey. And here you see it in a larger image, be able to handle campaigns, having educational systems. So basically, for each step, we establish the capability or capabilities that had to be at the service of the client in order to fulfill the promises of the journey. And when I say fulfill the promises, this means two things. Firstly, I buy online. Even if it hurts to say it, I buy from Amazon. Why? Because they fulfill their promises in the product that they are selling. They deliver when they say they're going to do it, and the information that concerns me is accurate. Why do I continue to buy from Amazon? Because they have never failed me. They fulfill their promises. And when you have a relationship with a client, the important thing is to comply with what you're saying. So for us to understand each step of the customer journey, to see which were our promises and how we will fulfill them, was the first step, so as to know which way we were going. This is a larger image of what we have in our lab that takes the whole wall, as I said. What happened after we understood each one of our capabilities that are turned on and off? Well, some of them are basic. I have to have a mobile phone available, and